In the first months of starting this YouTube channel, I made a video about the cheapest clothing in Lithuania. It was too fast, lacked some detail, and, well, okay, it was actually just way too fast. At the same time, I'm sure there are a lot of people who haven't yet seen the video who might find it interesting or might even benefit from it. So here's the second version of my video about cheap clothing in Lithuania. Let's get started. If you haven't yet figured it out, I'll be talking about thrift stores and secondhand clothing shops. I had a friend who hates the thought of wearing pre-owned clothing, and I assume there might be some others out there who dislike this idea as well.
They call it vintage, to take your mind off of what it really is, nasty wear. I mean, I'll move into an apartment after a strange person moves out. Why would I want to move into somebody's pants?
But hear me out. My take on it is that if you check it out and it doesn't smell bad and it fits, then just give it a really good wash or two, and then it's suitable for wearing because it's all yours. You see, I have this pet peeve about fashion, especially fast fashion. In many cases, garment workers don't get paid enough and work in slave-like conditions, and there's also environmental pollution created in the making of the product. And then there's environmental pollution when you're done wearing it.
China produces more than 20 million tons of fashion-related waste products each year, from production and used clothing.
For me, there are a lot of good reasons to buy secondhand clothes and support a circular economy. So what does this all have to do with Lithuania, you might ask? Well, there are a few secondhand stores around the country that have nice selections of clothing and can be really cheap. The best example I can think of is winter clothing. It costs a lot and gets worn only part of the year. The thick winter jackets you find at secondhand shops can be as low as 10 or 5 or even just 3 euros. Stuff that would cost over 100 euros brand new. Aside from shoes, socks, and underwear, I've made a commitment to only buying secondhand clothing. It's paid off for me, and I typically end up spending about 50 euros a year on this part of my life, getting some really good deals in the process. My current favorite pair of jeans I got for just 3 euros. Seeing as jeans from this company seem to cost between 100 and 150 euros, I think I won big time. But okay, enough about me. Where can you find these secondhand clothing stores in Lithuania? And how can you get these amazing deals? Well, I can only really speak about my one and only go-to chain of shops, Humana. I know these shops exist throughout the Baltics, and apparently there are also Humana shops in Germany and Poland, so I guess they're probably in a lot of other places too. I get the sense that this company buys donated clothing wholesale and then sorts and distributes it across their network of stores. In Lithuania, it looks like there are over 60 stores. In the Vilnius area alone, there are about 17. The stores I'm familiar with have a sliding scale for pricing. I think it's a 5-week cycle where the first week, full of new selection, is quote-unquote full price. And it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper until the end of the cycle. For the very last week of the cycle, every item of clothing in many Humana stores is 2 euros on Monday and Tuesday, and then just 1 euro on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then it's 50 cents on Saturday. I usually try and do my clothes shopping on this week or the week before it. I find that the days when everything is 5 to 3 euros is a good sweet spot. There's still enough good stuff left, but it's not at Humana's full price. If you're interested, humana.lt posts what the prices are on any given week, as does their Instagram account. Oh, and one added cool thing about Humana stores is that profits from the company go to support international development all around the world. How cool is that? Now, my friends from Ireland who were visiting me the other month told me that the chain of stores known as 50C was also worth checking out. I've walked by many of their stores, but just never bothered to look. But yeah, apparently there are some good deals to be found there as well. Now, enthusiastic clothes shopping is one thing, but even if it's used clothing, it still might not stay in your closet forever. If there's something I like, I tend to wear it till it's full of holes and no longer wearable, and then my wife is too embarrassed to be seen in public with me.
It's because men wear their underwear until it absolutely disintegrates. Men hang on to underwear until each individual underwear molecule is so strained it can barely retain the properties of a solid.
In those cases, it usually goes in the garbage, since there's nothing more that can be done. However, for clothes that I've outgrown because I enjoy Lithuanian food too much, there are textile bins for donations. In the case of Vilnius, if clothes are still wearable, you can find these big black bins throughout the city. They are typically located in and around supermarket parking lots, and there are a lot of them. I assume these clothes and textiles get sorted and might go back into circulation, or just incinerated if they can't be sold. For those who live in Vilnius, there's a link to a Google map with all the containers. I'll include this down in the video description. But yeah, that's everything you need to know about secondhand clothes shopping in Lithuania. Finding stuff that fits properly and suits your style can be a challenge, and it can be time-consuming. After all, it's not like you can ask a store worker to get the same shirt in a larger size. But you should just consider that part of the fun of secondhand shopping. You just never know what you're going to get. But to wrap up this video, the Lithuanian words of the day are dėvėti drabužiai, which means used clothing, or more literally, worn clothing. Thanks so much for watching, and please do consider buying less new stuff. I think if we all do a little, it can make a big difference for the planet. And I'll see you next time.